On a crisp spring afternoon in early March, the Walker family of Meadow Glen, a quiet rural village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, became unlikely heroes when they saved a helpless owl chick from a watery grave. The incident unfolded around 4 p.m. as the family was returning home from a walk near their property's wooded edge. 8-year-old Lily was the first to hear the faint, desperate splashes coming from an old irrigation hole, long forgotten and partially concealed by overgrown grass. As they drew nearer, the family spotted a tiny, sodden ball of feathers thrashing in the frigid water. It was an owl chick, barely a few weeks old, soaked to the bone and struggling to stay afloat. Its wide amber eyes, usually full of quiet wisdom, were instead filled with panic and exhaustion. The poor creature flailed helplessly, wings weighed down by icy water, too weak to fly or cry for help. Without hesitation, James Walker, the father, stripped off his boots and waded into the chest-deep water. His wife, Claire, stood at the edge, holding Lily's hand tightly as they watched anxiously. Carefully, James cupped the exhausted bird in his hands and lifted it out, cradling it gently against his chest. The chick was shivering violently, its tiny heart pounding with fear and cold. Back at their farmhouse, the family sprang into action. Claire wrapped the owl in a soft towel and began gently drying its feathers. Lily, her eyes wide with concern, prepared a small cardboard box lined with warm flannel and straw. They placed the owl inside, tucked it near the fireplace, and monitored it closely throughout the night. "We didn't know if it would make it," Claire later shared, her voice trembling. "But we had to try. It was so small, so fragile." Over the next few days, they fed the chick tiny morsels of mashed meat and droplets of water using a dropper. Slowly, the owl began to regain strength. It started preening its feathers, stretching its legs, and eventually flapped its wings with growing confidence. Lily named it Twilight, inspired by the soft golden hue of its eyes. As days passed, Twilight would perch on the edge of the box and watch the world beyond the window with curious wonder. After a week, the family knew it was time to let the owl return to the wild. On a clear Sunday evening, just as the sun began its descent behind the hills, the Walkers carried the box to the edge of the woods. James opened the flaps gently, and Twilight, now bright-eyed and alert, stepped out onto the grass. For a moment, it hesitated. Then, with a powerful flap of its wings, the young owl lifted into the air, rising, circling once above the family, before disappearing into the amber sky. Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she waved goodbye. "I hope she remembers us," she whispered. The Walkers stood quietly, hearts full, watching the sunset. In that quiet moment, in a forgotten corner of the countryside, one small act of compassion had rewritten the fate of a tiny life.